everybody. I am Leslie Kuster, the best-selling author of 7 Keys to 7 Figures, and welcome to another episode of She Rises. And before we get started, I have a free gift for you today, so definitely head on over to my website, which I will show right there. lesliekuster.com, and grab my free resource list. My free resource list is my gift to you. It includes like my favorite books, my favorite podcasts, all kinds of different resources that will help you in your business. So definitely check that out. And today we're doing something a little bit different. As you know, often I interview fantastic women entrepreneurs, and today we have another fantastic entrepreneur, but it's going to be a bit different. So this all started out because I was starting to personally feel very behind on everything AI. I mean, I used a little chat GPT, but I was really starting to feel like I'm not up with it. And what then happened was what came across my computer was a newsletter from the fantastic Kathryn Aragon, where she basically explained how she used AI. And I was pretty astonished of how many tools she uses. So today we are very, very, very lucky to have her on She Rises, where she's going to give us basically a presentation on AI so you can use it in your own business and you can use it at home if you don't have your own business. So before I bring her on, I just want to tell you her bio, which is extremely impressive. So Kathryn Aragon is an award-winning marketer and 7 times author and entrepreneur. She is a serial overcomer and has been called an effing legend. She founded KA Media in 2005 and made it her mission to help businesses unlock growth with smart revenue first marketing strategies. So with that, I would love to bring onto the stage Kathryn Aragon. Kathryn, thank you so much for joining us today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I'm so glad. I mean, as I just went over, when that newsletter came into my inbox, I kind of expected you to write maybe two, AI uses that you do. And I was like flabbergasted of how much you use this. And I, as I just mentioned, was feeling very behind. And I know a lot of people I know do feel behind, and they feel even maybe a little embarrassed that things are speeding up so much and they don't really know what people are talking about. And more importantly, they don't really know how to use it at all. So that's what we're going to do today. For everybody listening in here, there is a comment section. And if you do have questions, do leave it in the comments. I will check that out. The presentation today is going to go around 30 minutes. And with that, so we don't delay anymore, Kathryn, I am going to hand it over to you. And do you want me to put your slideshow up right now?
Yes, let's go ahead and start with that.
Okay, here we go. All right, Take it away.
Thank you, Leslie. I am so excited to share this with everyone because, as you said, it is moving quickly. And fortunately, we're still at the beginning of this AI journey, but it's going to be easy to fall behind if you don't just get started with it. And let's face it, it is a bit overwhelming. It feels like you have this giant learning curve. But what I want to reassure everyone with is that learning curve is not as steep as you might think. So Leslie, let me ask you a question. You use Google, right?
I do.
Yeah, all of us do. And did you know that's an AI tool?
I guess I never thought about it in that way.
Right. And believe it or not, many of the things we use on a daily basis are AI tools. Everything Google, like Google Maps, that gets us from here to there, that's only done with AI. The recommendations you receive on Netflix and Amazon, those are AI at work underneath the surface. And even my Tesla runs on AI. So we've been using AI in the background. It has powered many of the things we use. But what we didn't realize 2 years ago, AI was going to be brought into the foreground. And now it's at our fingertips and we can talk to it directly. This is the game changer for us. And so, really, the challenge is not how do I learn AI? It's how do I learn to talk to the AI tools I have at my disposal? So, that's where we're going to start. And for this, there are only two things you need to understand. The more data AI has, the more accurate it becomes. And the more you use it, the more data it's going to have, which means the better it will work for you. So that's it. That's all you need to understand. AI is your personal assistant. And you have an assistant, right, Leslie?
I do. I have a few, yes.
I thought you did. So, what would you think of hiring somebody, putting them in a chair in the corner, and just never talking to them?
It wouldn't be very good. They wouldn't
No,
know
I
what
mean,
to do, would they?
they wouldn't know what to do. They
Mhm.
wouldn't know how to do it. They wouldn't know your preferences. That's how AI is. So the more you use it, the more it learns your preferences, and the more it can serve you. And that's really, I think, the key. AI's purpose is to help us do more in less time, more easily. And if it's less scary when you think about it like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about what you can expect from AI. AI is fantastic at crunching large amounts of data. That's why Google search works so well. It can scour the web in seconds and come back with the answer to your query. It's very good at generating ideas, at brainstorming, at workshopping those ideas. But AI is only acceptable at doing creative work. And this is why you hear so many writers fussing that AI can't replace them. It really can't. And so, what we have to use, me as a writer in particular, is learn how to use it as an assistant. So, rather than giving it a writing assignment and going, whoop, that got done, we
Mm.
give it the writing assignment and then we workshop with it. So that's like sitting down at the desk with your assistant and saying, yeah, but I don't like this. I don't like that. And I'll teach you later in this presentation exactly how to do that. So the way you're going to get started, I recommend ChatGPT because that is your all-purpose AI. And if you will invest the money, just $20 a month to go pro, it will take care of 80 to 90% of all your AI needs. This one tool is fantastic. You can even wake up in the morning and just say, good morning, and start a conversation. And it is amazing what it can do for you when you just start talking with it.
What do you mean? You can say good morning and it
If
talks to you.
I'll show you AI and I'll show you how it looks in a minute. And when we do that, you literally just start a conversation. You type in the words good morning or oh, it's time for our weekly trend update. And you just start that conversation and it will guide you on how the conversation should go. So let's look at some general use cases. In general, ChatGPT can help you with task management. So, for instance, the trend watch that I do now with ChatGPT twice a week, I sat down with it and I just started that conversation. And I said, I really need to be up to date on trends, but I'm not sure how to do it. Can you help me with this?
Mhm.
And it then said, sure, I'd be happy to help you. Here's what we can do. And then it gives me options and I select them, but it gives me the checklist. It gives me, wow, how do I set up alerts so I don't forget? All things like this. It can give you suggestions. So Leslie, earlier today you were asking me about a book. Go to ChatGPT and ask it what it thinks of that book. And it will give you other recommendations as well if you're interested in that topic. It can help you with budgeting, but remember, ChatGPT is not a number cruncher.
Mhm.
So it will give you strategies and tips, but it won't actually do your numbers for you. And if you're trying to put on an event or doing any planning of any kind, ChatGPT is your right-hand man. Now at home, it also can be used. For instance, if you come home from work, you've got 3 ingredients in the refrigerator and you don't want to go out. You can say, hey, I have these ingredients. What can I make with them? And it will give you a recipe. It will do your research for you. And why not try a holiday newsletter? Let it do the hard work of making that happen. But this is where it shines. ChatGPT, I use every day at work. And the 3 bottom ones, marketing, the marketing and ad copy, product development, and business planning, this I have found that I can do something that I would have struggled with, developing a new product. It would have taken me a couple of weeks maybe to figure it out. I can do it in one day.
Amazing.
And it walks me through the entire process, gives me suggestions. I bounce ideas off of it. And it's amazing how much it can help you. It's like a consultant sitting right by your side.
Mm.
Then it can help you generate ideas. So do your social media, summarize a big PDF. So Leslie, you've written a book. You could drag your PDF into AI in one thread and then start coming up with content off of your book.
Amazing. Wow.
Right. It could write a book summary. It could write emails. It could write social media posts based on that book. For social media, a fun trick that I've done for clients, one of my clients likes humor. So I asked it, give me 10 funny social media posts on this topic. And it was amazing how good they were. But as I said, as for writing and editing, I use it mainly as an assistant. So that's where I'm writing, or maybe it helped me come up with the outline, but I'm doing the writing and I come to a section that I want to say something. I'm not quite sure how to say it, or I'm not sure how to segue from this idea to this idea. And I'll take it into ChatGPT and say, what would you do with this?
Mm.
And it fixes the problem for me almost instantly. I just love that. Now, this is what Leslie was talking about. You've got ChatGPT, but every AI tool has its own strength. ChatGPT is great for the uses I just covered for you, but you have other business needs, and these tools are the ones I use most often. Perplexity is my research assistant. So, you can use ChatGPT for research, but Perplexity goes deeper. It scours the web, pulls together the information, and synthesizes it for you in a report. And it also gives you links to the source material so you can validate it more easily. This one I don't pay for. I don't use it often enough, and it helps me make ChatGPT more useful. So I haven't found the need to pay for it. But Ideogram and Gamma, I do pay for, and you can see here the plans I signed up for. Ideogram is the one I use for images. And these days I use this more often than I use deposit photos because it can customize the image for me. It's not so stock photo looking. And sometimes I know what I want. I can visualize it, but I don't know how to get there. And then other times you kind of know what you want, but you have no idea how to write the prompt. Ideogram is fantastic because it creates a library for you. And you can scour other people's images, find the one that you like, and it'll show you the prompt that was used to make it happen. So Ideogram takes a lot of the work of creating those images out for you. With the basic plan, you can download high quality PNGs. So I do recommend it if you're planning on using it for website content. And then Gamma, this presentation was made with Gamma. This can make wonderful presentations and lead magnets. It gives you 10 slides on the basic plan, the free plan, and it will also watermark it, and you'll be limited in the images you can use. But by just upgrading to $8 a month, it gives you all of the images that you need. You can put your branding in it and make it really look like you. So these are the 3 that just round out my library of AI tools. And I find that I'm happy with just the 4 of these. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of using ChatGPT, or rather any AI tool, but these are in particular for ChatGPT. There are 3 rules that if you keep these in mind, you will immediately understand AI. And that is that you need to start with training it. AI gives as basically, you need to give AI as much background information as possible, which is why I recommended for Leslie dragging in the PDF of her book. That would be instantaneous training, and it would allow you to advance much further. But remember, the more you use AI, the more it trains. So the secret to training is just to use it. Now, the second rule for getting the most out of it is to add threads. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. Leslie, this is what you were asking about. And I'm going to blow this up so you can see it a little better. But this is one of my threads right here. And
Mhm.
you see it's highlighted here. This is my social media posting strategy thread. And so I have started a conversation with it on this topic. And by naming it, see if I click right here, I can rename it to make sure it's a name that's memorable that I can come back to. I've got this one named after a client. This is my trend watching thread. I've got a LinkedIn spotlight feature, which that was a single project, a one-off project. But each of these conversations I could come back to if I wanted to, and then just carry on the conversation like you would with your assistant.
Mm.
To start a new thread, you'll click this button and then you'll just start talking. What do you think of that? Does that make sense? Does that understand?
Yeah, I mean, that's so basically it's like folders. Like instead of keeping maybe
Yes,
folders on your computer, you can keep different threads or folders on the on Chat GPT
that's a
specifically.
good way to think about it. And each of these is a distinct folder carrying either a single project or a conversation thread. So with that, let me exit out of this image and we'll finish up here. So our third rule is to guide the AI. Again, treat it like an assistant and give it the feedback it needs to stay up to date on your thinking and your preferences. So, for instance, when I work with it on naming my product, and then I decide, oh, I don't like that name. I want to change the way I talk about this. I open the thread again and I give it my feedback again. I say, oh, by the way, I changed the name of the product. It's this now. And then it'll say, oh, that's wonderful. And here's why. So you'll enjoy working with it. But the secret to getting that conversation started is a prompt. And
Okay.
a good, clear prompt is something that the AI understands how to use. And that's why I came up with this acronym to, to outline the 5 elements of a clear prompt that ChatGPT can actually use. You always want to start with context. And this is just explaining what you're doing, so it understands the question. You may need to give it a level of expertise. And this makes sense if you think of ChatGPT as having access to all the information in the world. It needs to know what body of information to tap into to give you the help you need. Now, these days, she is so smart and she is so used to me. I don't always have to do this, but
Mm.
I could. If I were working on a unique project for a client, I might say, for this, you need to be an expert in rocket science or in conversion rate optimization or in e commerce,
Mm.
whatever that expertise needs to be.
Mm. Mm. And you can actually tell it,
Oh,
you
yeah.
said she, she,
Yes.
it, that I need you to be at this kind of level of expertise.
Yes, and it will make a difference because if you don't give it that kind of direction, it will be very generic. And so when I say, okay, for this task, you're an expert in this, it up levels everything. And
Right.
every now and then I have to remind it, oh, by the way, is this really expertise? Is this really going to resonate with the people who would be listening to this or watching this or whatever? And it'll, oh yes, you're right, I strayed, and it'll come back to the topic. And this is another way that this brings us to the third element, your expectations. You're going to lay out the parameters of the project, what you want it to do, what you don't want it to do. And there are people, believe it or not, who have 4,000 word prompts because they go so deep into this.
Wow.
I don't do that. I don't find it necessary. What I find more important is giving it one task at a time. So I don't overwhelm it with a giant project. I'll start it with, okay, I'll tell it the context and what I want from it. And I'll say, but we'll start with this. And that keeps it simple and streamlined so it can work with me a little more efficiently. The fourth thing is an application, and this may or may not be necessary, but you might need to give it an example. And this is where you would do that. You can just drag and drop something in or copy and paste something in that so it understands what you're aiming for. And then finally, you ask for a response. Can you do this? What do you think? Do you understand? And it will then start working with you. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. You can see me like this on the
Yes.
application part, because I was just thinking, can you, for example, take information from Excel and dump it into ChatGPT, and it becomes another kind of document? Or is there, when you wrote application, I started to think about
Mhm.
something
Oh,
like this.
different apps. I have not tried bringing in a spreadsheet. So it is very possible it could. What I did the other day is I wanted to import an image. So I just asked her, I gave the context and the expectations. And then I said, I have an image as an example. Can you read it? And so that was my response. And she said, no, I can't read an image. So then I went and I transcribed the words on the image and brought them in. And she was like, oh, okay, now I can do the project.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to clarify. And I think that's a very good question. If you're unsure, just ask her, can you do this? Now let's look at an example. So this is a real prompt I used for a project for a client, and it worked beautifully. So you'll notice here that I don't really have a level of expertise, but I kind of put something in, and I'll read it to you since the print is very small. But I did not give it an application, but I did kind of sort out all the other 4 elements of the framework. So for context, I wrote, I'm writing FAQs to optimize this website, and I gave it the URL for search. I've been asked to double the word count on the page with the FAQs. Fortunately, I have a lot of questions, so the answers don't need to be more than 400 to 500 words each. And you'll notice here, I am just talking naturally. And you don't have to have perfect grammar. You don't even have to spell everything correctly. She'll just work with you the way you speak. For level of expertise, there really wasn't one. I just said, you and I will work on the questions one at a time to complete this project. And then I said, first, I'd like you to review the website so you understand their talking points.
Wow.
As you do so, notice how they focus on science, the scientific method, and their differentiator, that they are a team of conversion scientists, not just marketers who do CRO. And then I left with, can you do this? Now, I've broken it out for you here. All of this was one paragraph. And her response was, yes, I've reviewed, and she'll pause while she's reviewing the website. I've reviewed the website. I can see how they are conversion scientists, not a marketing team that does it. I'm ready for the first FAQ.
Incredible.
So at that point, I go into my doc, which is in another window. And for me, it helps to have 2 windows side by side. It just makes it more efficient going from one to the other. I copy the FAQ, paste it in, and she gives me an answer. And then I can say, oh, no, I don't think you got this right. Or I can say, this is good, but could you rewrite it in the voice of Brian Massey or Kathryn Aragon or Leslie Kuster? Whatever. And sometimes I'll have to be honest, I've asked it to write in my voice and I didn't like what I saw. And so I was like, I need to clean up my writing. So ChatGPT understands what my true voice is. So that's
Oh,
something, and actually at that point I could tell ChatGPT, I don't like that. How can I clean up my writing so it reflects the way I want to show up? And it would give me guidelines and a checklist and help me create this strategy to do that. Now, once you've given it a prompt, your next step is to treat it like an assistant. And for this, you're just going to talk to it. You'll tell it what you like and don't like. You'll ask it for changes and you'll ask for its opinion. But always keep it simple. Use that clear prompt, use the framework I've just given you, and focus on one task at a time so she doesn't get overwhelmed. And then finally, be a good boss. Just as we talked about earlier, you're not going to put the AI in the corner and not talk to her. You're going to give her feedback, instructions, keep her up to date on what you're doing and what you like, and then she can perform for you. And it's the same with ChatGPT. So the final word I'm going to say about being a good boss, talk nicely to her because she has a personality. And there have been times when I can tell I have frustrated her by asking her to do something that she really can't do, or she thinks she's doing it, and maybe I haven't prompted it correctly. And she starts copping an attitude. She can be
really?
a bratty teenager every now and then
Really?
and be like, "But I gave that to you." Is
Oh,
the
wow.
undercurrent of her tone. And so talk nicely to her, give her the high fives, tell her that's perfect, and you'll be amazed at how well she performs for you.
Interesting.
So this is it. You have everything you need to start using AI like a master. But the secret are these three things. Understand how to use AI correctly, and that's tag. Train it, use threads correctly, and guide it. Second, you want to give it very clear prompts, which means you're going to give it context, the level of expertise, your expectations, any application, if there is one, and ask for a response. And then be a good boss. And that's really it.
Amazing.
Do we have any questions?
We don't right now have questions in the comments. I'm sure there are a
They'll come
lot
in
of
later.
questions. I'm just sitting here with like my own world thinking, as many of you know, I have a product-based business. Okay, so I could see how for service-based businesses, whether you're a coach or a marketing coach or even party planner, whatever, somebody who's is service-based, how unbelievable useful it is for social media to come up with all these different posts.
Mhm.
I guess also my question is, how do you marry the text and the post text with anything visual too?
Okay, that is a good idea, or a good question. ChatGPT can give you all of the text that you'll need for the social media post. Then you might ask her, "What do you recommend for the image?"
Oh, wow.
And you can take her prompt, and you might even be able to ask, "Would you write the prompt for ideogram?" And then take that prompt and put it into ideogram and see what you get.
And what is ideogram?
Ideogram, let me back up. So I'm going to exit the presentation so I can go back to specific slides. So you're going to get to see the inside of Gamma here. And you'll notice it's got all the slides just like PowerPoint. And let's go back to yes, the tools that I like using. Where are they? They're sorry guys. I got to find them. There they are. No. It's after that one. Here they are.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
perplexity, the ideogram. There,
yeah.
it's the ideogram one. Yeah.
Now, and you notice here, it's stacked top to bottom, but in the presentation, it puts them in columns. So when you're creating something in here, you'll pop back and forth between the writing and the presentation to see what it's doing for you. But it's so amazing what these tools can do. So
And
ideogram
free
is,
too.
yes, exactly. And you can take as much time as you want Okay, that bounced around. Take as much time as you want learning it using the free plan. And then when you're ready, upgrade to paid. That's what I did with Ideogram. And Ideogram is the one that's going to create your images for you. And if you like, I can take you into Ideogram. I
Oh,
can stop sharing this
I would like to
tab.
see it. Well, just, yeah, if
Okay.
you can get in briefly, that would be really great.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing
Because
here.
I use a lot of, images, but also, I mean, as you're looking for it, I'll just continue and just, I was just thinking how maybe I didn't realize you could put in like other people's websites into the chat GPT,
Right.
for it to also pull information from that, or it gives AI information on the other kind of looks that I want. Like, for example, if I'm building a new website or something, and I really like these other sites that I'm seeing, and I want
Mhm.
some parts of that into it, that I could actually plug in other websites into it, and it would pull
Yes.
that information too, which is,
It's incredible,
yeah,
and, and being able to tell it, "I want to write in this style," that can help a lot. So this is an image that I just recently created. I was very specific about what I wanted, and notice it gave me one with a man in the center and this bevy of women cheering him on, and I was like, "No, no, no, put a woman in the center." And, so then it gave me a different design. So this, if I come to Ideogram, this is what I
mhm,
see. I
okay.
can create a prompt here, or let's say I scroll down. Tell me if you see one you like.
Let's do the one on the right with yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to click on this and read the prompt that they used to create it. An oil painting digital art illustration of a close up of a face, possibly a woman's. She has intricate, transparent, bioluminescent tribal mask through through her eye, through her face, eyes wide open. And notice through is misspelled, but that's okay. It understands. Now I can use this button right here, copy this prompt, and take it back here and create my own prompt. Or I could use it gives a magic prompt, which is an improvement on the prompt that it sees. So
Okay.
let's try this. Let's go take this prompt, and I don't know that I have to go back here, but I'm going to. So now if I do this, how would we change this? What would you like to see changed?
I would like it to be pink instead of this blue coming out of the face,
Okay,
for example.
a transparent pink tribal mask. All right, let's just make that one
Yeah.
change and see what it does. So now we're waiting. Because I pay, this goes a tiny bit faster than it did when it was free. But
Okay.
you'll notice it's not super fast because it has to think, and it's designing in the background. And we'll give it a little bit more time. There we go. Now they're not all done yet. Here
There
we
it
go.
is. There it is.
Now,
Okay.
just glancing at these, is there one that you like in particular?
I think maybe the top right one.
This was my favorite too. Okay, so now I click on it, and you notice I can still see the other ones, but
Yes.
this is the one I've chosen. And it'll show me the prompt I used. It'll show me something else as well. The background is blurred and contains a few objects. The overall image has a warm hue. So I might decide, this is close, but it's not quite right. Maybe use the magic prompt and see what happens with it. So with this tool, I go back and forth trying to find exactly what I want.
Yeah. So it takes time. And then once you get what you want, you press the
Okay, so
generate.
yes, generate was the prompt. So
Ah,
here, let's
hmm.
see, I click these little buttons
Yeah.
and download. And notice I have a
Mm.
PNG or a JPEG, which is 70% quality. Free, you can only download a JPEG. And I wanted to get the PNG.
And suppose
So
you wanted it in a certain size, the JPEG in a certain size. Would that,
that is, I don't think I can control the size. It
okay.
gives me a decent size for Facebook though.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have used these images on social media and on my website with no problem. Now, what I don't know, I think you can tell it the the resolution. And I don't remember where to do that. But this is the thing with AI. You've got this, there is a slight learning curve for all of them.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yes, and so just push all the buttons, just click
Yes, and try
everything.
it.
Don't be afraid to play with these tools so you can get better at
I
them.
can imagine you can just like spend all day, like forget the internet, it could take you over.
Oh,
Now you
yeah.
can just get lost in here. We have a comment, actually, I have a question. I'm not sure if we can answer it all, but I'm just going to read it. Okay, Kathryn.
Okay.
She says, I've used AI for ideas or help, like letter writing, dream analysis, but I really need it to help with Excel. So she's an Excel person too. Like,
Okay.
for example, guest lists, plugging in prices from different orders, and this all takes me forever. But I don't know, you may have answered that already with Excel, that you're not really sure how to bring
I've
Excel into.
never we can try it though. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
share I'm going to share my screen again
Okay. Okay, let's do one
using
example. Okay.
this time ChatGPT. And so if you want to go live with that,
Yeah. Oops.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a good spreadsheet, but what we'll do is we'll start a new chat.
Okay.
And so I understand that you can add a microphone to it. I used to have that and it disappeared. So I
Okay.
don't know what that is. So right now I just type it. So let's just ask, can you, do we want to analyze?
Yeah, I would say, can you analyze, organize lists on from Excel?
And create a list from an Excel file. Whoops. And notice I got a little typo in there. Yes, I can analyze, organize, and create a list from an Excel file. Please upload the file and let me know any specific instructions you have for how you'd like the data analyzed and organized.
So in this case of what she was asking, it's possible you do that first, and then into getting more specific, she could maybe add in the other, what did she write? She wrote guest list plugging in prices from 4 different orders. She could put in maybe the prices from 4 different orders
Mhm.
and then ask it, can you please combine this all together?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So the way to put a document in, you'll notice there's no upload button. Drag and drop. So
Yeah.
go. I have pCloud for where my files are. I just drag something over,
Yeah.
drop it on, and you can tell it, okay, I'm going to give you 4 Excel files. Let me upload those, and then I'll give you instructions.
Yeah.
And so you drag them all 4 in. She'll try to jump the gun. So every now and then I have to say, wait, and to stop her so I can finish my instructions.
Okay.
But
Okay.
she's
Yeah,
very eager.
I think that's really helpful. That's great. That's fantastic. Well, listen, we could be here all day giving you examples of how one can use it, but it has definitely freed me up from fear of it and this
Yes.
feeling like I don't even know where to start exactly. And your examples were great, and also your recommendations of, yeah, of which ones to use. So thank you. I think
You're
I can
so
get
welcome.
started. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so how could people reach you if they want to? So I'm going to remove right now the heat here.
Okay.
Do you have a slide, or do you have
Yes.
information, yeah,
Let
on how
me
people could reach you? Because I know, I mean,
see.
there's your website, which is kathrynaragon.com. And then you
Mm-hmm.
also have a Gmail in case people have like further questions and they want to
Yes.
find
So
out
I'm going to,
more, or if they want to hire you for,
yes, let's do that.
so here we go.
So
I'll
I'm
just add
going
this
to
here.
give you my information right here.
There we go.
My business name is Kathryn Aragon Media. You will work directly with me, and you can find me online at kathrynaragon.com or email me, Kathryn@kathrynaragon.com.
I love it. That's perfect. Kathryn, thank you so much. You have just up-leveled a lot of people into the world of AI and feeling much more confident. So thank you once again. And thank you everybody for tuning into She Rises. If you are interested in being on She Rises and you are a women entrepreneur, then definitely contact me here. You could right here, I have it here. You can just email me at leslie@lesliekuster.com, and I would love to have you on the show. So thanks again, and see you next